Hey everybody, it's your hospitality friend Glenn here with Tristan Gadsby, CEO of Alliant, and I'm excited to meet this guy here on camera for the first time because you are actuating what I have been talking about so much out there.
We like to think so.
Yeah.
We like to think so. And your keynote yesterday was absolutely spot on for us.
Great. And
So thank you.
Yeah, as we're recording this, we're doing this from the high-tech event in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had the honor of doing the keynote speech along with my podcasting partner, Anthony, and we're really talking about keeping the humanity in technology and how to get closer to your guests utilizing technology instead of having that put up a blockade. You're doing that for employees, for guests, and kind of bringing everyone closer together.
Totally. And, you know, I think it always goes back to when you think about your experiences in a hotel, what do you remember?
Right.
Not checking in on the app.
Yeah.
Not really, although you can take the friction out of that.
Yeah.
It's the human interaction.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about. So, you know, when you look at how technology can actually help in hospitality, don't just think about how it can, you know, do an online check-in.
I know.
Think about how it can enable the staff and how it helps them, you know, really do their jobs.
Yeah, so let's get into that. But I do have to say one of my favorite lines that I like saying on the show and on stage is like, when you go to a hotel, you never come back and going, holy cow, you've got to say this place, the lamp in the room was amazing. It's always like, you know, Jane helped me, or Joe did this for me, or the property was great, was the people just went above and beyond, right?
And it always is. And that's why I love hospitality.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into it.
And it's great because in the hospitality, there's so many people that want to give, but what you're doing is you're creating actionable insights that really help make experiences pop.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're so lucky. We work with a lot of the top brands across the industry, but we have a lot of the messages that guests send and all those interactions. So we can learn an awful lot about that and use that to really help the staff, you know, inform them and help them really drive great experiences. So not just a profile on the primary booker, which is my pet hate, because it's not just the primary booker. There's a great Far Side cartoon that covers actually the primary guest.
I feel like you're talking about the one with the snake that ate the person.
I think that's right. That's the one. So you have to have a profile on everyone in the room. You have to have an itinerary for everyone in the room.
Right.
You have to be able to do that. Look, I don't want to go to the spa all the time. I'd like to play golf or do something else.
Yeah, but the problem is when you just put, you know, all right, I'm getting so flustered because this bothers me so much. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is I've been giving the major hotel brands information about myself through my choices on their page or through the way I've been spending at their hotels, but they cannot understand what I like. You like golf? I don't care about golf. Yep. Why do I keep getting golf
recommendations?
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Right.
They talk about personalization. No one's really doing personalization well today. And a lot of that is because actually when you look at the person at the front desk, they're fighting up to 7 screens.
Right.
7 screens to actually try and do their job. It's impossible. And I don't know why we're not investing in technology that people can actually use to help them do their job. So why should they have to fight those screens to see the profile of you?
Well, what are you talking about? They invest in technology. I saw some great DOS screens with green letters. That's like, you know, modern 1982 technology.
It's still there.
Yeah, and I know.
It still powers. I mean, when I hear that the profile resides in the PMS, it really makes my heart bleed.
I agree, but to be fair, the PMS became the reluctant brains and center of the hotel, and only in the last number of years have we seen technology get to a point where we could be unshackled from that, and that's kind of where you guys come in.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we realize that actually, you know, the industry, unfortunately, has used technology for a long time.
Right.
But it's so siloed. When you go through the life cycle of your journey, and I think when you go back to your lovely picture the other day, which hasn't changed, you know, since man first went to a hotel.
Yep.
The systems that support that are so siloed in the background, and you have your property management system, then your table management system, then your spa system, then your golf system, or whatever else you have. Very rarely are those connected, so they can't see you across that total experience. And I think that's been the biggest problem.
And that is the problem you're solving. But then the other problem is you have the information, but then getting people to leverage that information for success too. Right?
Totally. And that comes from a number of angles. First of all, seeing staff fight the user experience is awful, right? We should be giving staff consumer grade user interfaces.
Right.
There's no reason it's out there.
Well, the fact
every
that's
day.
what people are using in their normal lives.
Totally.
Right.
So first of all, do the basics well. Give them a user interface that they can actually see the profile when they actually need it and can do something with it. Then you can use all sorts of other technologies, and we talk about AI a lot these days, but you can use that to summarize all the transaction history with that customer. So you've actually got a picture of who they are, but very, very quickly, because don't forget, staff don't have much time, and there are lots and lots of guests. So being able to summarize that very, very quickly is really important.
Yeah, that's right. They don't need a whole list of things, but for me, they only need to know when I buy beer, I tend to go towards white beers, or, that sort of thing. This is the type of food that I like. I've done these experiences at your hotel. It should just have, Glenn likes to do this. Right.
Totally. So we import, for example, with 7 Rooms, we import all of those preferences and combine them with your other preferences, so you can actually see all of those things that have been captured about you as a guest. I think that trying to get the right framework of how you capture preferences is such a key part.
Right.
And we talk about data being that foundation, but that's really what we mean is, have you collected that? Is it in a way that you can actually use it properly? Going forwards.
And you all out there have been collecting that data, and by working with these folks over Alliance, you'll be able to actuate that data, which is so important right now as we move from a world of focusing on RevPAR to revenue per available customers. And that's where the magic is really going to happen in the future.
Absolutely. And even beyond that, profitability per customer, because actually, when you look at how you provide the services, I mean, we had a great example where, this is the other thing we try and do is we work at the enterprise level.
Right.
So actually the ability to roll up all of these things. So we had an example with a group that we work with. We were looking at their snorkeling spend. So it turns out one property was doing over $1 million of snorkeling every year, which they'd outsourced to a third party. The next day after seeing this data, the general manager went out, bought a whole load of snorkels and flippers, bought it in-house.
Right.
And all of a sudden they had a very different profitability mix on some of those ancillary services.
Great story. I love that. It's particularly impressive because it was a downtown hotel in a big city. Just kidding.
With a very deep swimming pool.
I absolutely love that. All right. So how can we find you? How can we learn more?
So we're Alliance. So alliance.com, obviously, as everyone has. But also you should see on there a lot of the things that we do. But also a way to connect. We're in the messaging business, so please message us.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what it's all about. Having a conversation, and you build up, as you build up much better relationships through conversations than you do through, just...
You got that right. All right, so you got to go check these guys out. Don't do it for me. Do it for me as your customer, because I want to be able to spend more money at your properties because you know who I am and what I like. If I'm sitting around and I don't know what I don't know, I'm not spending money with you. This is the key to helping people in the future. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Tristan Gadsby. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.
You missed.